Iblis is a jinn. وَكَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ, says Sura El Kehf. Allah did not create Iblis as an evil being. No. Allah gave to the jinn the capacity for a free choice. He gave them a self-directed will or free will, so they could make a free choice. If you make a choice and you obey Allah, you go to heaven. If you make a choice and you disobey Allah, you go to hell. And so Iblis made the choice to disobey, and he going to hell. Dajjal is not like that. Dajjal is not going to heaven and he's not going to hell. No. Dajjal has no free choice. He has no self-directed will, no free will. He's not a human being. He would appear as a human being, but he's not a human being. He's not a jinn. He's not an angel, because angels commit no evil. He cannot be a human being and he cannot be a jinn, because he does not have any free will to make a choice to obey or disobey. Rather, Allah created him as a special creation, and Allah programmed him to fulfill a certain mission. So there's a world of a difference between Dajjal and Shaitan. Shaitan has become an evil being on the basis of his own choice. Yeah. No. The question that he is asking is, Surah Yasin speaks about the people whose hearts have been sealed. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ سَدًّا فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ. A people whose hearts are sealed. They don't have any choice. Wrong. It is because they exercised their choice and they rejected Allah and they became kuffar that Allah then sealed their hearts. And then Allah said about such people, it ain't make no difference. You could warn them. You don't warn them. It's like water falling on the back of a duck. They will never believe. Once Allah has sealed your heart, there is no place for you other than the hellfire. Abu Lahab, didn't he have a chance to prove the Quran false? The revelation came down declaring that he belonged to the hellfire. All that he had to do was to go and take the shahada, and he made the Quran look like a fool. Didn't he? No, he didn't. Because Allah had sealed his heart. Allah had sealed his heart. He could not have done it. There are three kinds of people. There are those whose hearts have faith and whose conduct is righteous. They belong to heaven. There are those whose hearts are sealed. They're kuffar. Heaven is haram for them. They're going to hell. And then there's a third category. In this third category, Surah Al-Baqarah says about them, فَيَغْفِرُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيُعَذِّبُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah forgive whomsoever He wishes to, and Allah will punish whomsoever He wishes to according to His own judgment. Now, we have a few minutes left. I want to now use this time to begin the most important subject of Sura El Kehf. The most interesting subject of Sura El Kehf. The most absorbing subject of all of Sura El Kehf. You cannot deal with politics. You cannot deal with economics. You cannot deal with international affairs. You cannot deal with history without grasping this subject that's coming up now. And this is the subject of Gog and Magog. We want to give you two ahadith today that you must keep with you constantly as you study the subject. The first is this. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that Ya'juj is an ummah of Banu Adam. Ya'juj means Gog. Is an ummah of Banu Adam. So they're human beings, like you and I. And Ma'juj is an ummah of Banu Adam. And so we are dealing with human beings. Gog and Magog are human beings. Don't send me some email telling me that Gog and Magog live in 5 miles underneath the earth. That is an email I got just before I left Malaysia. That they're living, yes, Sheikh, I'm telling you, they live in 5 miles underneath the earth. Second hadith. It is in Sahih Muslim. You're going to get a handout, but it's going to be a big handout. That's why you're not getting any handout today. With all the ahadith, inshallah, on Gog and Magog. All the important hadith. Second hadith on Gog and Magog. I have created creatures of mine. Hadith al-Qudsi, direct speech of Allah. I have created creatures of mine so powerful that none but I can fight them and destroy them. None but I can fight them and destroy them. These are the two ahadith I want you to keep with you. Now, in our first class, on the first Thursday of February, if you remember, on that occasion, we turn to question number 3. Answer these 3 questions if you are indeed a prophet of Allah. Question 3. Tell us about the great traveler who traveled to the 2 ends of the earth. Remember? And then the answer came down in Sura El Kehf. And Allah says, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ. And they question thee, O Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, about Dhul Qarnayn. Qarn means horn. Qarnayn, 2 horns. Dhul Qarnayn, the one who possesses 2 horns. But Qarn also means an age, an epoch. So Dhul Qarnayn, someone who impacts upon 2 ages or 2 epochs. The Quran explains itself. Al-Quranu yufassiru ba'duha biba'd. And so now let us see when the Quran uses the word qarn, in which sense does it use it? The word qarn appears in the Quran about 20 times. And on every instance that Allah uses the word qarn, it means an age or an epoch. It never means a horn. And so we are on solid grounds when we understand the name Dhul Qarnayn to imply someone who impacts upon 2 ages, who has relevance to 2 ages, one in the past, one to come. Dhul Qarnayn possesses faith in Allah, and Dhul Qarnayn possesses power. They say religion and politics must be kept separate from each other. Doesn't that the secular state? Huh? Keep religion and politics away from each other. The secularization of politics and power. Sura El Kehf responds and says, no. Zulkarnain possesses power. Power. He is in control. His government in control. He is the state. But Zulkarnain possesses faith. And so power and faith are combined together in this political dispensation. What happens when power rests on the foundations of faith? This was the first class. Zulkarnain travels in the direction of the setting of the sun, comes across the people. Allah says, what are you going to do with them? Either you're going to punish them, or you're going to treat them nicely. What will you do? And he responds and he says, those who commit dhulm, acts of injustice, of oppression, of wickedness, I will punish them. And so power, when it rests on the foundations of faith, power is used to punish the oppressor. You love to hear that, don't you? Love to hear that, eh? To punish the oppressor. And when they return to you, you will punish them as well. And so when power rests on the foundations of faith, there will be an essential harmony between the world here and the world there. He then went on to say that those who have faith and who are righteous in conduct will be rewarded, and I'll treat them nicely. And so when power rests on the foundations of faith, that power is used to protect, to preserve, and to reward those who have faith and whose conduct is righteous. Sounds like music in your ears, eh? But you heard this from me already. And then he traveled in the opposite direction. And he came across where the sun was rising. He came across a people, لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُ مِن دُونِهَا سِتْرًا. Apart from the bare elements, subsistence level living, these people had nothing. They live at a subsistence, the way the birds live. You don't know where tomorrow's meal is going to come from. Oh, my fridge is stocked up, I have food for the whole week. But they don't know where tomorrow's meal is going to come from. When you meet a people who are living at a subsistence level, and you have power, and power rests on the foundations of faith, how are you going to respond to these people? You're going to start sharing Mercedes-Benz Molokas? Huh? You will start handing out politics of patronage, the PNM did, the politics of patronage, and in the process of patronizing your people, you end up corrupting them. Is what Malaysian government is doing. The politics of patronage. That these people are underprivileged, and so the government and the state has to intervene in the economy in order to be able to bring them up. So handouts, and in the process of handing out, you